Hello and welcome back. I'm Tom and you're watching Forgotten Performance. I've already showed it in a YouTube short, so you might already be aware. But for people who haven't seen it, here is my new addition. This is a 1989 Ford Mustang GT 5-litre convertible with a 5-speed manual. This was actually my father's car when I was a little child. I was about 7 years old. It used to be my dad's daily driver. But he wanted to repaint it, do some custom body work and a load of project stuff. Took a turn for ill health, unfortunately couldn't get it done. So it sat around for a very long time. It's been parked for 19 years. On and off had a bit of work done to it here and there, but never got sorted. So now it's mine, because it was either it had to be scrapped or I buy it off of him. So for a very fair deal, I picked it up, and it's going to be probably a 2 to 3 year project that I'm going to be trying to show on this channel and share the whole process with you guys. So what is a Foxbody Mustang? A Foxbody Mustang is a Mustang made from 1979 through to 1993. The Fox platform, which is what this sits on, which is the underbody, it's a unibody construction. That platform was used on 10 or 11 different cars. This platform was used from the Mustang to other coupes, hatchbacks, wagons and even a pickup truck. The early Fox bodies, 1979 through to 1982, were just regular cars. They was alright, but it wasn't until 1982 that they started to get a bit better when Ford revealed the GT. The GT came back with the 5-litre V8.
This is how Ford tests the new Mustang GT. For acceleration response, precise handling and evasive maneuvers, and emergency braking control.
Law enforcement agencies in 6 states have noted the capabilities of the 5-litre Mustang. So that car in your rearview mirror may look strangely familiar, because in a lot of places, the boss is back.
But now, it's wearing a badge.
As the years kind of progressed on, it got more and more powerful. The 1979 through 1987, or 86, had 4 headlamps. These were called the 4 eyes. They had a very boxy front end, and they was kind of good looking, but people generally prefer the facelift, which was released in 1987. In 1987, they came out with the aero nose, which is what this would be. This is 1989, but it would still be an aero nose. So the aero nose had a more aerodynamic front end, featuring the name, and it had solid piece headlamps rather than 4-piece headlamps. So you didn't have 2 square ones either side, you had one big unit. Being a 1989, this features electronic fuel injection and a mass airflow sensor. This means it responds to tuning very well. That setup was released in 1986. Up until then, they ran with carburetors.
Carburetors! Merely carburetors!
This fully fuel injected with an ECU, but it does use a distributor here on the front of the engine to control the spark. Standard power on these was advertised at 225 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque.
Ford's heart-stopping 5-litre V8 pours out 225 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque.
This was quite good in the time, being the 80s, and they had very respectable performance of, for the convertibles, I believe they were tested between 6 and 6.3 seconds 0 to 60, so not slow at all. Everyone knows the main thing that plagued these Fox bodies though was traction.
But the area where this car truly excels is acceleration.
Ford released them on a 15-inch wheel with 225s, and that just wasn't enough.
225 60s mounted on 15-inch rims.
These 0 to 60 times could easily be beat by upgrading the rear tyres and the rear wheels on these. So as I mentioned, 15-inch wheels, 225 tyre width, not enough for a 5-litre V8. Even though Ford gave it a limited slip differential and their tried and true 8.8-inch rear diff, it just wasn't enough. 5-speed manual in this, your wheel spinning down the road. They're famous for it. But if you can get them to hook up, get a better tyre on there, you can get that 0 to 60 down very easily. The 225 horsepower turns into 300 with light bolt-ons. They're a very tunable little car. That's long enough spent talking about it. Time to actually show you the car. So yes, before you say it, it's got no front end. I've taken the wings off and the bumper and that off, so I have access. That's because the chassis leg here, as you can see, it's all nice and black now. This was orange, but not that orange. It was really badly covered in surface rust, so that's been all wire brushed and sanded back. And then after I've treated it, I've sprayed it with some matte black spray paint, and then I've just gone over it with a little bit of lacquer, giving it a nice light coat. I know it's matte, so there's no point, because I'm not trying to make it shiny, but it's just to keep it sealed. There's a bit of surface rust here, so that'll be the next spot that I do, unfortunately. Not sure if you can see it down there, but there is a hole in the strut tower, and that is on both sides, so they're going to have to be cut out and welded. But the things we do for old cars, the old girl's nearly 40 years old. I've spent a lot of time getting this engine freed off, because this was completely seized up when I got it. It obviously been sat for a very long time, so a mixture of diesel and automatic transmission fluid. Thankfully, thanks to this one being broken. For those new to the channel, this is my 1998 Mustang GT 4.6 litre. Well, that's got gearbox problems, so I've been doing a lot of gearbox work, which means I've got ATF to spare pretty much. So a mixture of ATF and diesel down the spark plug holes, let that soak in. Eventually that broke loose, and now that spins very nicely, so that's saved. I was really worried I was going to have to tear it down and do a complete rebuild. Obviously it's going to need some new parts. It's an old engine that's been sat for a while, but this car only actually has about 55,000 miles on it, so everything should be pretty sweet. I have done both sides. This side was nowhere near as bad, but I wanted it to be, you know, symmetrical, so I've come along, I've sanded down all the way along here, this panel, all the way along here, treated it with a rust treatment, and then spray painted it black, and then gave it a little bit of a... Actually, I haven't lacquered this side yet, so I need to lacquer this side just to seal it up. And then, unfortunately, there is a little bit more rust. I was pretty bummed out to find that when you get inside the car, remove the rear seats, this is all the sand deadener that I've scraped off of this side. I was really bummed out to find I've got a hole here, and then unfortunately we've got holes in the floor pan, so that's going to need to be cut out and welded. That really sucks under here, but that's not the end of it. Down under this hole there is another sheet of metal there that's rusted away and fell down. In this corner we've got holes, so even though it's been dry stored and it was on axle stands, I'm a very unlucky boy and I need to sort the floor pan. This side didn't look as bad, but I'm not going to know for sure until I take all of that sand deadener off. A better state in here though than when I got it. When I got it, the floor was not white. This was horrible. It had been used as a shed for a very long time, and something had been living in this rear seat tray, which is why that's gone like that. So I've had to scrub this and scrub this and scrub this to get it clean, and now it's actually quite surprising. The floor pan, other than the rear seat tray, is solid. I've already got the heater box back in because all of this was removed. I've then got the dash frame and the wiring in. Well, I think it's all in the right places, and then I've placed the dashboard in. I've not screwed it down yet. My mum actually, bless her, spent ages helping me clean the inside of this, and she actually cleaned up the dashboard, because this is the original dashboard from the car, but it had been stored quite poorly, so it was very dirty. But I've just got it back in there now to help me kind of line everything up. There are a few things I'm struggling with. This, for example, I'm not sure exactly where this locates, but I'll figure it out. That'll be in another video. What I've done around the back so far, I've got all the loom routed into the boot and scrubbed the boot out as well, and I've I can't speak. I've put the tail lights in, the iconic cheese grater tail lights. This one is a little bit damaged, but who cares? Everyone hates these, but I quite like them. They're really retro, they're proper of the time. And as I say, it was my dad's car from when I was a kid, so I kind of want to keep it familiar to that, even with a few little changes. So I'm going to keep the cheese graters, that's for sure. I've got the loom loosely pulled in. Here's some of the interior trims. There is a bit of surface rust down here in the boot, but I'll clean that off soon. Unfortunately, a couple of the wires have been cut, so wiring up the lights is going to be a bit of a pain, but there's a second loom. I know you're thinking, oh, why don't you just use that one? Because this one's been cut as well. Someone's cut the plug off of it, so I'm just going to swap those bulbs and that onto the original loom. It'll be fine. Of course, this one is a 5-speed manual, so we've got the shifter there for the Tremec T5. Got 3 pedals, 1, 2, 3, and we've even in the box got a short throw shifter. So this is going to be a hell of a car when it's back together. 5 litre V8, 5-speed manual, limited slip diff. It is a 1989 cars. Got this lovely little badge on the dashboard for the 25th anniversary. So that says 25 years on it there at the bottom. And that's a very cool little logo that was only, to my knowledge, on the 1989s. It is a cruise control car. Got the controls on the steering wheel. Still have all the stuff for that. It did have aircon, but that's now been deleted, so apparently that's like an extra 8 horsepower. Don't know if you'll actually notice 8 horsepower, but we'll find out. Well, actually we won't, because I don't remember what it was like too much when I was a kid. It's been such a long time. I do have memories of this car, but they're not as fresh, obviously, because I was a very young child. Obviously she's a couple colours at the moment. The white, that's the factory colour, that's the factory door, factory quarter panel, factory body kit. It was white, grey, it had a little red stripe along the top of the body kit with the black roof. The orange is something my dad wanted to do. The orange is a very nice colour. I'm going to paint it orange. I'm going to try and... it's not going to happen straight away. It's probably the last thing that's going to happen. Get the car running, driving, you know, all of that sorted. And then look at potentially getting it painted, because that's the least important thing. I want to get it running, driving, usable whilst my dad's still healthy enough to enjoy the car with me. Now I can consider painting it later, but it's going to go orange to match what he wanted. Although I do really like the white. Part of me wants to keep it white to keep it how I remember it being, but it would need to be resprayed in white either way. So I'll honour what you wanted. As you can see here, I'm working out of boxes of stuff. I've got everything for the car pretty much, but it's all in boxes. Yeah, not everything's labelled, so that's going to be fun to sort out. And someone tried to jack it up on the radiator support. Anyone who knows Mustangs will know that's a terrible idea. So that's going to have to be cut and straightened. I've also been working on getting all the wiring in. As I said, I've got it all in behind the dashboard, but that includes obviously pulling it through to the engine bay, because that happens underneath there. So trying to figure all of this out was really, really not fun. I think I've got it all in place. So the only bit that's confusing me is, I think this is the right wiper motor. It all lines up with the bolt holes, but I don't have a plug for it. I've got this plug here, this little plug here, this little plug here, and this one is close. Not only does it not reach, it's not quite the right shape either. I've got all the injector wiring in. I believe these clip onto the back of the inlet manifold. Got the wiring coming around here, all the wiring coming around here that goes around the battery tray, comes around to the headlights. Don't know if I actually have a battery tray yet. What's going to be really fun is when I get this all back together and plugged in, and then find out if these wires even work, because they're very old. So I might plug the battery in, try and turn stuff on, and nothing works in the car. But that's the joys of a project. Before I could get the car onto the trailer, I had to free the brakes off. Amazingly, after it's been sat for so long, the front calipers both pushed back easily with no effort. Whilst, yeah, the disc and pads will need to be replaced, I'm surprised that they moved. Thankfully, in the Foxbodies, the wheel bearing is part of the brake disc. So that means when I replace the brake discs, it will have new wheel bearings on the front. So yeah, it does have disc brakes on the front, vented, pretty decent size, but could be better. But then on the back, good old-fashioned drums. Quite a big drum, but not quite what you have on a sports car nowadays, is it? It is on a set of aftermarket wheels. I'm not sure what they are. It says SP by Row. SP by Row. No idea what that is, but they look alright. Obviously, Foxbodies, 4-lug. What a common thing people do is take the suspension off of the SN95, that over there, and put it onto these so they can run 5-lug wheels, because then you have a lot more choices. I don't hate these. I'm not a big fan of them either, but I'll keep them for now because I've got a matching set of 4. Problem is, I did take the old dry rotted tyres off and put just some old burner ones on. The rims don't hold air because they're really corroded, so they need to be refurbished, so that's great. Only this one on the back corner here holds air, the rest have gone flat. This car is a California car, so originally it would have had an 85 mile an hour speedo on it. I have got a set of 140 mile an hour speedo faces, well, a whole speedo, in the garage for it. I'm not sure if you can really see this under all the dirt and overspray, but the original windscreen you have to be replaced because it's cracked. But Long Beach officers, I can't talk. The heat's getting to me. Long Beach Police Officers Association. At the bottom it says something about California, and it says honourable member. I really can't talk today, everybody. Hopefully that's entertaining for you, otherwise this could come across as a really poorly made video. But yeah, it was a California car. It come from Long Beach, which is Miami. It was owned by a policeman, which is really interesting because these cars were known as red light racers. They were stoplight kind of street racing cars back in the day. So as a child, when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, it was always really entertaining for me to picture a police officer gets off duty in Long Beach, walks out, he's just taken all his police uniform off and now got out his police cruiser, hops into his brand new grey on white 5 litre 5-speed Mustang, just like Vanilla Ice had, and then what? Goes street racing? Because you don't drive something like this slowly. No one buys a Mustang GT, especially not with the 5-speed manual, to cruise about nice and slow, do you? So yeah, that was always a little fun thing for me. So there we go. That is the new project car for Forgotten Performance. My dad's Ford Mustang Foxbody from when I was a child. Stick around and see how we get along fixing it up. Obviously it's going to be a very slow process, but I'll try and film everything I can. And one day when this thing fires up, it's going to sound amazing. So make sure you subscribe so you can be there for when that happens.